What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Blackout, back at it again with another Assetto Corsa video. We are on episode 5 and the final race of our 5-race sprint championship with the Porsche 911. Now, it has been a crazy ride, and this race is also crazy as it is critical for us to get these points to contend for a championship. Now, if you look here, this is the current standings in the points before the final race here. Now, we are third as highlighted on the number 3 spot. We are the Porsche 911 GT3, and we need 19 points, I believe, in order to catch up. Now, we need max points at most. That is the best scenario we can get in this situation, and that is something I believe we will do, and you guys will just see what happens in this video here. We raced at the Hungaroring in our first ever rain out race, and it was definitely experienced, and I learned a lot, and it's gonna be a fun one. So if you enjoyed this series, after this championship, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these because I enjoy racing here and on Assetto Corsa in general. Please like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop into the video, man. Now, as I'm starting to pull off from pit lane for the first qualifying session, it says right at the corner, the bottom right, slick tires optimum by my engineer, which doesn't make any sense because, I mean, it's wet. Like the track is wet, and we almost crashed into that car for a minute. But it's wet, and it's like that didn't make any sense to me because the track is wet, and going onto slicks in wet weather is literally like going onto a frozen pond with no ice skates. Like that just didn't make sense to me. I mean, if you look, I have wet tires on, and those warmed up pretty easily because they absorb the water. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I honestly was very, very confused by that. All right, the start of our first qualifying lap, and we're going to brake at the very first marker that we see on the left-hand side and go down to first gear to make the corner all the way, and then at the midway point of that corner, we go flat out, and then we want to make sure to brake at the start of the bridge and drop down to second, which I believe we should be dropping down to first, but you'll see that later in the video. Okay, go flat out on this section right here. All gas, no brakes. We're going to brake at the last brake marker on the side right here. Third gear, just let it roll through, and then brake at the last marker, drop down to second for the corner right here, and then we go flat out. Once we see the next brake marker right here, we brake, drop it to second, take as much as the curb as possible, let it roll through in the first, then go flat out in the middle. Then we're gonna brake right here. We should be in second, but I just didn't shift down. Then we're going to brake right once we see the beginning of the curb. And then we're going to lift off the throttle a little bit going into this corner, shift up to fourth, but then back down to third so that we make this corner. And then we're just going to go flat out. And then once we're mid, I brake a little early right here, right about the sign that you saw previously. Right here is a little bit tricky. We're going to brake at the advertisements. Drop down to first. We should be dropping down to first, but for second, that's okay too, just a little slower time. We're going to drop down to first on this final corner, and then shift to second gear mid-turn, and then flat out across the line for a 2 minute 1.1. Not bad if you ask me. Now this here was my second lap at an attempt to get a faster one, to get ahead of the lead a little bit, but we were a second under our fastest time at 2 minute 2.2. So we didn't improve, and we're at the 2 minute 1 mark. We're going to try again, but that ends super quickly as we go over track limits and our lap time is therefore invalidated. What I am going to do though, however, is practice my pit lane entry so that we are not locking up brakes or skidding tires, etc., etc. And this wasn't bad. I believe that we didn't even go over pit road speed. Maybe just a time. No, we went in just right. Like that was spot on. But regardless, we finish qualifying 1, currently in P1, and that stays that way as we get pole position for the first race. Most definitely a great start to the weekend ahead. Now for Q2, I wanted to test out this theory of my engineers saying of the slick tires being optimum in the rating setting, because I just didn't believe it. And I was just like, there's just no way. So, we put the fuel at 62. We put the dries on. I mean, I was like, should I put the wets on? But no, I'm just gonna try the dries, see how it is, and yeah, now we prepare. All right, so we're going to pull off of pit road right now, and these tires were green at the start, but just look at how much of a change the tire temperature becomes just off of this first corner. Not even, just this first sector as a whole. Just look at how blue these tires become. And we haven't even completed a full entire lap yet. I mean, what is my engineer thinking? I don't understand it. Like, it's like we're on an icicle right now. And, I mean, they become a little bit, but just look at this right here, and we spin out. We spin out, and I mean, we have a little bit of green, and that's just because we spun out. That heat. I honestly don't know what my engineer was thinking when he said to put slicks on, or that they're the most optimal tire, but I don't know, he was wrong, and I just didn't see it that way. And on our way back to pit lane, like I said, the tires were blue. They were becoming bluer and bluer, and we were getting absolutely no grip whatsoever. And we were going wide all the way, and here we are again. Light damage to the rear, which is of course not good, and we spin out. Not ideal at all, and we have to wait so that we don't spin in front of oncoming traffic, because if you go back to Zandvoort, that is exactly what I did, and obviously you don't want that to happen. So we kind of overshoot our pit stop a little bit, and that's okay though, because it automatically readjusts the car when you overshoot it. We're gonna have a little bit of repair, so that's gonna cost a few seconds, but we made sure to switch to the wet tire, and I'm glad I did, because I almost had to change dry tires on dry tires, and I would have been really mad if that happened. Thankfully though, we didn't. We had a few seconds because of that damage to the rear, but that's okay. It was nothing too harmful, nothing too serious. Now here, I think just those dry slicks on the wet tarmac just totally fucked up my sense. We're being shown blue flags. You're slow when you're being shown blue flags. And this Lamborghini would not move. And I don't know if it was because I was on his racing line, or if I should have just moved out of the way, or maybe he should have moved out of the way. I don't know. But I tried moving. He moved straight into my path. But, yeah. And even worse, right about here is where we get a big tap to the Lamborghini in front. Not to, what's the word? To show our displeasure, but it was an accident. It was nothing, nothing serious, nothing personal. But I'm going to shut up. This is my qualifying lap, and I'm going to let you all hear the beautiful noise of the Porsche 991.
Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to apologize to that Audi that I spun out. That was not intentional. I just did not want to lift, and you are on my racing line. So going back to that Lamborghini incident, yes, that was entirely my fault for being on the racing line, and I apologize to that Lamborghini as well. But we got P1 to end off qualifying 2, and we are pole sitters for both races. Now that is a first, and it couldn't have come at a more better time, as we may be able to possibly sweep this weekend and maybe even get the championship from 3rd place. And as you can see here, we also got pole position to confirm it. We could have gotten a Grand Slam, but free practice 1 and free practice 2 we just don't talk about because they were horrible results to begin with. We were dead last in practice 1, and I believe we were 6th or 7th in free practice 2. So one was really bad, the other one was kind of good, but doesn't matter now because Q1 and Q2 we are pole sitters for the final race here at the Hungaroring. Okay, so for race 1, as you can see on the top right hand of your screen, I will zoom in, it says that the race is 1 hour long. Both race 1 and 2 will be 1 hour long, and I'm not going to be showing the whole hour, otherwise this video will be taking forever. I'm going to be cutting it to some of the good moments, extended highlights type shit. And yeah, we're starting first. It's going to be raining. I'm going to be changing up my setup right about now so that it's a wet setup and I don't mess it up. But yeah, once everything's checked out, let's go ahead. I changed the fuel so that we do 1 less liter of fuel. And yeah, let's go ahead and hop into this race, man. So this was weird because I see here that it's green flag already, and there's no, double file up to the line, all that. Like in the other previous races, like it's just straight green flag once you start up the engine. And that was kind of good that we had our first our first place in qualifying, both qualifying really, so that we didn't have to navigate our way through the field and potentially get ourselves involved in a wreck. But we really had a good start. We were able to pull away by nearly a second from second place. And the problem with that is that we were also pushing the tires a lot. As you can see, the rears of our rear tires are already kind of red. And I don't know if that was from the little burnout we did at the beginning, but yeah, we had red on the rear of our tires and bits of yellow on the edges of our front tires. So we were really pushing a lot so that we could establish a really big gap between us and the car behind. Now, this first lap was pretty decent. We were able to be the fastest car on track, obviously. And it turns out that the weekend overall was really good for us, as we were able to really learn our braking references, our braking points, and, even learning how to race in the rain properly. I mean, it was a big improvement from practice overall. I was slipping and sliding everywhere, and I wasn't really sure of how everything was going to go. But we were able to figure it out. We were able to adjust. We were able to make things work. And here we are now, first place, leading the Hungaroring for the final race of our season. Now, looking at our tires are definitely almost, they're not dead, because if they were dead, they would be pretty red. I mean, look at that. Fastest lap of the session. We still have the grip. We still have the time. We are arguably the fastest car on the grid. I mean, we were a full second faster than second place. So we are definitely the fastest car on the grid. And we want to keep it that way. And so we want to be consistent, but we also want to watch our tires so that they don't get too messed up. And also play a really good strategy too. And maybe, just maybe, even possibly lead every lap. I mean, it's not possible, obviously, because we're going to be coming into pit lane and some cars will be pitting later after us. But hopefully we will be the leading car for a majority of the race. But boy, did that dream just die out after this lap right here, because the lap after, we get passed not once but twice, so we're down in third after we hit the barrier too hard, and that unsettles the car, and we almost crashed into the wall, but fortunately we didn't, and we were able to get the car under control. But we lost a couple places, so currently we are third place. And me personally though, however, as much as it sucks that we aren't going to be able to be leading, I see this as a bit of a blessing in disguise and a learning experience for the next race. See, I've never done these 1 hour races. Like I've said before, the longest race that I have done, not just in this game, but in any form of a racing game whatsoever, was in Forza Motorsport 7, the Nürburgring 38 laps in the Audi LMP1 from 2014 or 2015. I don't remember the exact year it was, but it was from the LMP1 era, for those of you who are endurance racers. And that was 6 hours long. So that was a very long track. It was the complete Nürburgring GP circuit combined with the Nordschleife and all of that. So it was a very long race. So to me, however, this is something different because I'm using a wheel and pedals. And when I did that Nürburgring race, I was using just straight control. So this was definitely a physical one. I felt very sore after doing 2.5 hours of pure racing, but it was worth it every step of the way, and I am definitely looking forward to more races like these. Anyways, though, we want to be able to catch the car, second place car especially, so that we don't have to be always fighting for third place in the end. We don't want third place. We don't want second place. We want first place. We want to be able to lead and get enough laps so that we can get the W in the end. That is the goal. This here was our closest chance at getting second, and we're going to try and overtake here at the hairpin. We break in a little late, but we slide and almost slide out, and we lose that time and we lose that momentum that we had from earlier. So that was a little too aggressive, and that was probably one of the worst decisions to pick for an overtake. But we tried it, and that really kind of gave us the confidence to be able to push more, even though our rear tires are yellow and we're losing grip by grip. But we have about maybe less than 10 minutes, I believe, or maybe 15 minutes or so before pit lane opens. So we're going to continue to keep pushing until we can get a pass on the Audi. Now here again, though, is where we got another chance at a pass. We were right at the bumper, and we're going to brake a little later here, get on the throttle earlier than the Audi, we slide a little bit, we get into the back again. We keep getting into the back of this Audi, and we're not able to, unfortunately, get a pass. Okay, we're gonna get closer, we get on the throttle earlier, but we slide yet again. And like I said, we slide and we get on the throttle way too early so that we can get a pass. We're gonna try here again. And round 3. Can we get the pass on the Audi from the outside? We're not gonna go on the outside. We're gonna get right at the bumper, give them a tap from behind. Can we get another pass on this corner? No, it does not look like we will. We keep sliding and sliding and sliding, and that's because the grip on the tires, on our rear tires specifically, are starting to give out a little more with each lap passing by. And that doesn't say that we're going to stop pushing, obviously, because we want that second place so that we can follow the leader in to pit lane by the time pit road opens. Now this lap we're going to try again, and we get a better start. We just let it roll instead of going on a brake. We're going to late brake here. We get to the side of it. We just kind of muscle by, and we get second place by muscling the Audi right by the side of us, and we get that second place. And now we try to push so that we can get behind the Mercedes and get a little bit closer by the time pit road opens. We don't want to pass them first because we don't have our own strategy. Our strategy right now is to pit when the leader pits. And that's because we don't know when exactly to pit. I mean, do we pit at the halfway mark? Do we pit, I don't know, towards the end of the lap? Oh, and look what we're talking about right now. Pit lane is now open. The pit window is available. And now we wait and see. I mean, it's a good time too, because look at that power slide right there. It's time for new wets to come on. So we're going to follow the Mercedes in front and see if we can exit pit road either in front of or behind the Mercedes. Then we have an even higher chance of competing for first place and for this win in race 1, which would be very crucial when it comes to the championship, because that would be max points. And the Lamborghini is the championship leader as of right now, who is currently 5th place. So if we can get max points, that possibly puts us up to 2nd. And oh, look right here, leader coming into pit lane, and like I said, we follow right behind them. And yeah, we're going to come in. We're gonna just get in right there, and we are right behind them. We are at good pace. We want to be able to change the compound to wet because it's always at default dry. So we always want to make sure to change it there. And I don't know if we already have a driver swap going, so we'll be fine right there. We overshoot a little bit. I don't know if that's going to affect us that much. I don't believe so, but the hydraulics come up and our pit stop commences. It looks like there are some cars that are staying out. And it looks like we're the only two, maybe the only two in the pit lane so far. Maybe not. We don't know yet. But nope, there's a Mercedes right there that's also in the pit lane. So 5 seconds left. Are we able to get out before this Mercedes? All right, get the engine started. Engine started. We gotta go. Okay, the Mercedes is gonna get a better pit stop than us, which is fine. It's fine because I believe we're still 2nd regardless. And yeah, we're going to have some catching up to do because they have a 5-second gap on us. But we have better tires, better wets, and I believe that we can definitely close that gap pretty soon. And by pretty soon, it's actually 1 lap later that we actually catch up from 5 seconds to less than half a second. And it gets pretty tight right here as, look at that. Look at all those lappers right there as we come right back from 8th, 9th to 4th and 3rd right now. Two cars are supposed to be pitting pretty soon as the pit window closes within less than 3 minutes. But we are in the battle with this Mercedes right now as we give him a little tap right there. We had to get out so that we didn't tap him and spin him out while he's turning. So we kind of lifted and moved out of the way a little bit there so that we could give him space. But we lost the momentum, so that's fine. We'll be able to catch him pretty soon. And right here, we brake a little early, get on the throttle a little bit faster than him. Almost got on the tap right there, almost got some contact, but we brake just a little bit to avoid that. We're going to try to go aggressive in the chicane, but that fails miserably as we slide again, knowing that the tires are yellow because we were pushing the fuck out of the car. So we're going to have a little less grip than I believe that the Mercedes will have. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But we like challenges over here. So we're going to keep pushing. We'll be pushing here for the next 26 minutes so that we can get this W. We are hungry for this W. We are hungry for this win. And we are going to do everything we can to get this win. Now, this is our make and break moment here. This will be our time to get the pass as we come into this break. We come in, we go a little bit faster, but we get contact. And we give him a little push, but we're going to be braking late here. Can we get, we brake a little early, but we get on the throttle during that, and can we get the pass going? We're going to go around the outside, see if that works. We brake a little later, but we're still side by side. Still side by side, he's still to my left, but we get the pass done from the outside, and we are back in the lead of this race with 24 minutes left on the clock. Wow. That was some good side-by-side racing. We kept it clean, and we made sure that we made no contact. We didn't push him out of the way. Nothing. That, I believe was probably one of my better passes that I have done in this game, and just this race in general. I mean, you've seen some of these races. I mean, I pushed that Audi from second place out of the way, really. So that is the benefit of pushing, and now we're going to push a little bit harder. I mean, not harder than we were before. Just we're going to keep pushing so that we can establish that gap from the Mercedes behind. And yeah, now fast forwarding here to the final lap of the race, and to the final 30 seconds specifically. We weren't able to cross the line when there was some time going, so this will be our final lap, and it was just pure domination. I mean, we were able to get 5.5 seconds ahead from second place, and we were able to be very consistent and be very safe. I mean, for the most part. I mean, we were still sliding a lot. However, that didn't matter much because in the end, it was us coming out triumphant, and we are the winners of race 1 of the Hungaroring. Wow. I mean, I was very happy with that race. I was very happy with myself and how I performed, and just the overall consistency that was demonstrated. I mean, wow. Just absolutely dominating. Look at us, man. We're so happy. I mean, how could we not be? We worked our asses off for that W, and we really did. We got the win, and not much we can really say about that. That was a good race, and I'm very happy with how that went. Okay, race 2 starting up, and it's the final race of our season, and we are green flag, and we get an amazing start off the rip. And I mean, shit, we're off already. We're already almost a second ahead. Now, it does say that from our engineer that the slick tires are the optimum tire. However, I honestly beg to differ, because the wet tire, in my opinion, throughout this race was definitely the best tire and held on a lot longer than it did the first race. So maybe I should have used the wet tire or the slick tires in the first race, but maybe not. I don't know. Regardless, though, we won that first race, and we're here to win the second, take this championship home. Now we're already ahead of the second place car by a second, and we're going to continue to keep pushing these tires more and more. Same strategy as last time. And now that we know exactly when to pit, meaning that the first lap that the pit window becomes available, we go into pit lane immediately, and we're going to take that strategy and take that as an example of exactly what to do throughout this race. Now, if you see here on the bottom left, we've lapped in at 2 minutes 9 seconds. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. Meanwhile, second place was able to lap in around 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So we are at a very good pace so far, and we continue to just outrun and continue to gap second place, even third place. I mean, 10 seconds away from third place car. And I mean, like I said, we are at a very good place. And look at the tires. Comparing the tires from what it used to be back in race 1, they are a lot more greener, a lot more grippier, and we just have overall a lot more traction to deal with. We get very close to track limits, and I think that's because of how much we're pushing. I believe we pushed a lot more than we did in race 1, which I don't believe isn't too bad, but at the same time it is very risky for spinning out or even gaining penalties for track limits. So in the meantime, we definitely need to be careful, but yeah, overall we're having really good pace so far. And to show you how good of a pace we actually have, here is a car exiting pit lane on lap 7 or lap 8. Or 8 laps completed, however you want to say it. This is the last place car, which is the Mercedes number 89, and we are now encountering a bit of lap traffic, it seems like. So I don't see any blue flags so far, and oh wait, I did see one blue flag. So there's blue flags going, but however, I don't see him moving out of the way. But maybe it's because of the current distance that we're at. I mean, he's about a second ahead of me right now, but I feel like blue flag should be obeyed, but that's just me personally. So we're just gonna kind of move him out of the way. Yeah, he decides to get me back, and so we have some damage on the rear. Pretty light, but it shouldn't be too bad. My apologies to the Mercedes. I did not mean to spin you out. But yeah, that's my fault. I take full responsibility for that, regardless. So yeah, that we lost a lot of time there. We had about 17 seconds ahead, but that came down about 6-7 seconds. Not too bad, but we did lose some time. But that is okay though, because if you look at the bottom left, we have a car that is actually in pit road so far. So that could help us, and that could have to make them pass another lapped car. Or so I thought, because as the gap was closing, the gap began rising exponentially again. So that, in my eyes, was like, you know what? Maybe he left and I won't be able to catch this lap car. So I have a lot of free room left. And that was the case. He was about 30 seconds ahead, and that gave me a lot of free room to work with, while second place and on really had to work towards getting past the previous lapped car. However, a few laps later, we did catch up to this Audi who just left pit lane, and coincidentally, this was around the time pit lane opens. At the 35-minute mark, pit lane is now open. So, we have reached the pit window, and it couldn't have come at a better time as we slide and glide through turn 2. Now, to me, I had to decide whether I wanted to keep pushing to the point where I passed the Audi ahead of me, but I decided not to, because 1, he's a little far ahead right now, and 2, I'm still sliding a little bit, and I don't want to weaken my pace against the cars behind me. So what we're going to do is we're going to push at the regular pace that we were pushing, and we're going to go into pit lane and get our tires done, and we're going to get everything normal. However, I also did think about the previous damage that I gained after purposely spinning that, or not purposely, spinning the Mercedes behind me. I gained some light damage from behind, so that I think is going to add a few seconds to my time as I do get some spinning there for some track limits. Alright. Now's the time to come into pit road. I believe we take the chance, and we do. We take that chance, perfect turning, and now we just want to not slide too much to the point where we slows us down and we get in there perfectly. Maybe first gear we go in a little too hot, but that's okay. And just like I thought, we would get extra time to repair the damage. 37 seconds. Is that enough? I don't think that's enough, and we may come out second if the leaders do pit. I almost go on dry tires instead of wets, so that would have not been good. Perfect pit stop though. God damn, that was a really good turn in. And hydraulics are up, and now we have 37 seconds for tires and damage. All right, hydraulics are down. Start the engine and let's get through. We are not going to be first out of the pit lane, however. So we are going to be behind this Audi, currently 10th place, but that won't be long as cars will need to come in for their mandatory stops. But we are going to have to pass the Audi in front of us in order to become first place in this race, as we are like, what's the word? Interim first place? I don't know the exact word, but I think it's interim first place, as the other cars need to finish up their mandatory pit stops, and we just need to be consistent and be aggressive. We do a big slide there, within track limits though, just probably by like a pixel. So, I mean, I'll take it. Obviously, we need as much room as we can, but yeah. As you can see on the board, best lap is a 1:59.6, which you can see on the top left-hand corner of the screen. And I think that's the best lap. I'm not entirely sure. But if it is, I think it's safe to say we have the fastest car on the grid so far. Now, we are on the chase, and it looks like we have came up on the 7th place car, who is in need of their mandatory pit stop. He's halfway into the race though, and we're going to try and get the pass on him as the Audi gets by. We're going to get the pass on here as we late brake and try and get aggressive, and it works. As not only that, but we gain more time and we get closer to the Audi, who is interim first place. Now this set of corners is how we're going to probably get by, and we're going to let off the brake, let the car coast through the corner. We get a good run so far, and we're gonna try and go wide, but no, we can't go through the outside, so we're going to stay in second place as of right now. We're going to go a little aggressive through the chicane, and we don't spin out this time. As you can see at the bottom, the leader has entered the pit lane. So, as the pit window is closing, more and more cars are going to be taking their stops, and it looks like lap traffic is going to be ahead of us, which is most definitely a good thing, because that will slow down the leader and prompt him to pass, and that will give us closer and closer to getting past him as well as traffic and getting first place. Now, can we get the move done on this lap? This is probably one of the closest we've gotten. Leader is in pit lane so far. We give him a tap from behind. We're going to go fourth gear, brake a little late, but then go in the throttle as soon as we can. That gives us good momentum off that turn. Now, we're close as we can. Can we get a good pass into the corner? Late brake right here. Are we going to get it done from the inside? We do. We get it done, and we are first place. Clean passes all around, and wow, just absolutely magical, absolutely perfect. With the leaders in the pit lane so far, and we're going to try and block, and we do get the block done, but it doesn't matter. We are now going to pull away, and the race is ours for the taking so far. I mean, he's still a bit into our inside right now, but can he get a move done? I'm going to give him some space just in case, but he's not there. Oh, he is there. He's there. He's going to try and get the pass done. We make a little contact, but we're going to do some late braking. And we're going to push him just a little bit, and he backs off. And aggressive driving. Oh, we get a little loose there, and he's going to come back just a little bit. We're going to block him on the inside. This is some magnificent racing right here, but with that, we pull away, as instead of braking, we just let it coast. We let the car coast, and just like that, within 2 corners, we pull ahead by 1.5 seconds. That was some magnificent racing right there. Wow. Some good blocking, some good aggressive passing. That was perfect. That was good. And with pit window closing, amazing racing so far. Now for the rest of the race, it is just cruising and staying in the lead. I mean, the car ahead of us started gaining a little bit, but it was not enough at all, as we were able to finish first place and get full points this weekend. And it is possibly enough for us to win the championship. I mean, I'm very proud of myself for the improvement that I've had throughout this entire race. Just being able to adapt very quickly to the driving style from say a game like Forza to a simulator race like Assetto Corsa. I think I did very well, and I believe this could be my first championship. Not much celebrating here, to be honest, but you know what? It's okay. I'm fine with that. I mean, we won though. That's all that matters. And we were able to achieve maximum points this entire weekend, just as I said before. Maximum points. That in itself is an achievement worth celebrating. Now, free practice 1, like I said, last place. Free practice 2 was 6th. Qualifying sessions 1 and 2, we were able to get pole position. Really fast sectors, almost a near perfect sector for both qualifying sessions. And like I said, race 1 and race 2, both 29 laps, both first place finishes, big W's all around. Full points the entire weekend, and I think it's enough. 32 points that entire weekend. We will just have to see right about now. And it looks like we got the W. Let's go. It was more than enough. Way more than enough. 77 points to the mere 68 to second place. We got the W. We are champions of this overall sprint cup season, and wow. I'm very proud of myself, and yeah, this was crazy. This was crazy to see. I'm more than happy with the results, and I can't wait to play some more. This was definitely my longest video today, and if you made it to the end, boy, you a real one. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and for giving these videos a lot of momentum and for all the views recently. I truly appreciate it. If you want to see more and you have any idea for what car I should use, comment what you want to see, and like and subscribe for more racing and more Assetto Corsa. And I will see you on the next one. Peace out.